you doing tonight? Little off the show here, and yet you you tonight.
Always Batman and Rob. How's everybody?
Got a bunch of folks in here. A few minutes. Facebook is making it really hard on us to check these out. So thank you for sharing and letting people know. Despite of the censorship and the shadow that they're doing on us, we are still on Facebook, Canada. So thank you that speaks volumes and volume that we have here.
And everybody, it's all about right. How's it going?
Oh, we got here people all over the place, kind of bouncing stuff around a little bit. The sound is all right. Peter has known. Do an audio check here. Go back, dude.
How's that sound?
Any better?
We'll probably have to change the cord.
Give us a thumbs up. I think we've got a. Yeah, I think we've got a bad cord on our microphone, so we got still
a 30-second delay here, so we'll see if people can hear us.
If that got a little bit better.
Loads better. There we go.
All right, perfect.
That's good, guys.
Perfect.
All right.
So tonight, some interesting stuff has been going on, shall we say. We've seen the people of Canada expressing themselves louder and louder and louder.
And it's amazing. It's very amazing.
So proud of you guys. So proud of you guys for starting to come together and stand up on some of this stuff. So in light of what's been going on this weekend, a good friend of our community here, somebody that everybody knows, and is probably most of you guys have seen the raw footage on. Some travesties, some crimes against Canadians are happening. Our rights and freedoms are not being respected, or we're being ignored. And we've got a special guest to come in tonight, Mr. Cody Holler. How you doing, brother?
Mic's off.
Your mic's off. I think we caught you by surprise.
Yeah, you did. How's it going, guys?
Not bad, you, man?
Good.
Thanks for finding some time to hang out with us. There's a little bit of a time difference now. Everybody's still getting used to that. We were on your time a couple of days ago, and now we've got everybody confused. But thanks for finding some time to hang out with us tonight, Cody.
How was you guys' trip out to Alberta?
Quick
and easy, no problems at all.
Yeah, we were expecting to see some grief along the way, but there was nothing. Everything was good, smooth sailing. Other than Mother Nature being her unpredictable best, all was good. Not nearly as exciting as the weekend you've had, though, right? Geez, as unexpected as this was, it was truly expected. I think sooner or later it was going to come to something like this. I hate to see it happen to anybody, but if it did happen to anybody, I'm glad it happened to a responsible, level-headed guy like you that knows what he's getting into. And I'm sure you were fully aware of what the possibilities were. I think that was kind of one of the reasons why you were out there yesterday. So tell us where you're at now, 24 hours later. I know you've probably had a busy 24 or 30 hours since this has all happened.
Wow.
So let's touch on where your head's at right now, and then we'll rewind back to where it started.
Yeah, well, I could play a quick little 2-minute clip after you explain it.
Yeah, once I hear where he's at here now, then we've got a quick little clip that we're going to run for everybody to get it fresh in their mind and get you riled up again and get your play-by-play take on it.
Man, it's been a wild ride. 24 hours. Holy man, the people I've heard from, the people that have reached out, just been phenomenal. Yeah, I've heard from people that I used to go to grade school with and haven't talked to since then. Just absolutely insane. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm still trying to juggle it all. I missed the boat on Mother's Day yesterday, obviously, and that was a little stressful for the missus. She was watching a live feed as that all went down, so
wow.
that was pretty hard on her. And then I promised I would make that up to her today, but then today has been a really wild day as well. I've been contacted by, like I said, just people in general. The people that do have my number, a lot of people have been phoning me. I have been contacted by lawyer groups, constitutional justice groups, media outlets, obviously. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. So
we did cut down a little clip out of a segment that Rebel actually put together yesterday. I wasn't aware until just a little bit before we got online here to do the show that Rebel had actually been there. I'm kind of surprised Shiela didn't track you down there and catch your story on the spot. So I'm sure you'll be hearing.
I got hauled away from there, so they wouldn't have been able to catch up to me after.
Oh, so did they have you
for
for quite some time, or?
Yeah, the whole ordeal was probably about an hour from the time that they physically removed me from the legislature grounds and threw me in a squad car. Then ended up in a paddy wagon, and they took me downtown. So
you must have seen. I'm sure. Well, I mean, you're in this every day. You've been an outspoken voice in Edmonton for a long. So you probably knew that they'd said some things, they were going to do some stuff, and kudos to you for going down there anyways. What were you expecting when you headed up there yesterday?
It's really funny actually, because the day before the event I posted a meme. There's a lot like some of the pictures that are circulating of me now, and it was basically saying, and what I'd put on the post was, it's coming, folks, the time is coming when it's going to be illegal to have opinions that question the official narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and there was a picture of a guy getting carried by police.
And now it's you.
That's got to be surreal looking at that now.
Oh yeah, it's like foreshadowing. Crazy, weird.
I got to ask you though, it looks to me like you're smiling when they're carrying you away.
It did.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't scared. I was just like, oh my God, honestly, I was just thinking, I can't believe this. Like, this is ridiculous. And I knew that, one, there was nothing to be scared of, right? I mean, what was the worst that's going to happen? They're going to scuff me up a bit, risk get a little hurt from handcuffs, whatever. But I mean, really.
Well, to my understanding, like I watched the clip that Shiela did, and she read out the sections that they read you, and you didn't break them.
No, that's exactly what was going through my mind. And I knew that as soon as they were telling me what section it was, and when they hauled me away, because the week previous, they had arrested another individual and held him for the same sections. And I was doing a live feed, and we got the audience to look it up for us during the live feed. And they commented right in the live feed what that section was. So
that kind of explains Kenny's backpedaling attempts today. I gotta say, that is the best backpedaling I have seen out of Kenny since he came into office. So kudos to you for that one. So has anybody from his office reached out to you yet?
Nope.
No. I think they're probably rightfully preparing for a pretty serious lawsuit. I think so. I can't even imagine where you go from here. So tell me what's in your mind about what I know you're probably still processing, probably still trying to make sure your wife loves you and she's not going to run away. Right?
Yeah, I'm definitely falling behind here. I'm lucky I'm not out in the doghouse right now.
Well, from us to your wife, thank her for letting us have you a little bit to share your message with people.
Yeah.
People. This has fired people up
It should.
astronomically in such a short period of time, and it's kind of a long overdue and not as rude awakening as it could have been. But I think this was something that was sorely needed for people to see, and knowing that this was something that you absolutely could have been facing and ultimately were as a man with responsibilities. That's what Canada needs to see more of. So I'm hoping the messages that you're receiving are positive and supportive.
Yeah, I haven't seen much in the way of negative stuff, and I think that's largely due to the fact that a lot of the people that are speaking negatively about me that I have heard have blocked me on Facebook a long time ago. So
No big deal.
Facebook and other social media. Yeah.
Well, there was some controversy or attempt at controversy in my opinion. It was projection, and I'm sure you know exactly who I'm speaking about with that, and I don't think that's going to work out so well for him in the end, and in the fact that he's completely lost in his own ideals.
So already used lunatic.
Right.
Lunatic. That's a little overboard.
Right. Maybe.
Says the guy who's at an anti-gun rally, but hails the United Nations, who wants to take away everybody's guns. Right. It's completely normal. There's no lunacy in that whatsoever.
Well, yeah. I'm not even sure why I kind of had him around in the periphery of my feeds and never spoke to the man. I wouldn't give him a platform because he was far too erratic. I've seen him speak in public before. I've seen other people address him before, and there was no way I was going to give him a platform. But I did go out of my way to address his almost slanderous comments yesterday and let the world know exactly what I think of his statement. And I think a lot of Canada's on board with the same thing. We got an echo.
It's on his end.
I can grab here. I'll grab a headset. I got a set right here.
All right, we'll give Cody a second.
Yeah, why don't we just play that clip while he's putting those?
Yeah, let's roll that clip. Cody can find some headphones there, and we'll get the audience fired up a little bit.
Yeah, you guys are gonna.
In violation. I'm here by myself. In violation of our freedoms. In violation of our freedoms. And no, please note, sir, that I am not an officer in authority. Nope. Am I being arrested?
Well, this is.
Stay right where he is, being detained. What did I breach? The Public Health Act. What section and subsection have I breached? Are we together? You don't have to tell me that.
Stay here.
71 subsection 1. I have not.
No.
Show it.
Show the document here now.
I want a book that shows it.
Yeah.
No, that was a piece of paper. You better Anybody take your
can
property,
write up a piece
Nikki.
of paper.
No, don't go anywhere.
You can do it here.
Yeah, where's the paper?
I'm not going to willingly comply.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
He does not
Yeah.
consent with you.
Under the duress.
Show me a law that states that I have to provide identification to you. Okay, now show me how that applies to me. Yes, you do. I have not committed any offense today. No, he is not.
No.
He's
No.
6 feet from me. He's not with anybody.
To
abridge my unalienable rights, and I do not.
You are infringing.
No. I'm being charged. Okay. Right.
So we're going to identify you.
So now I am being charged. So tell me exactly what I'm being charged with.
Charged under section 71(1) of the Public Health Act.
Wasn't that 73(1)?
He changed it again.
What is it?
Yeah.
So why am I being charged?
Listen to
There's
this.
a whole other group of people here, and yet you're going to come and pick on me.
We're not here to argue with you.
What is
You guys have a
711?
problem with the things that I was
Can you say
discussing
what
here today?
711 is?
73 somewhat.
Well, he said 711, so make up your mind. 711, 73
I am here
Brand new
peacefully.
legislation.
I'm not doing
Brand new.
anything wrong.
It's an act.
I am not
an
in a
act
group.
is not.
They called the health minister. She's an act. Or he's an act. Yeah.
71-1, 73-1, they'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
Over there complying with us, I suggest you
I don't have
No,
that.
he doesn't have to comply.
Yeah.
You guys took that from me last year.
Is there anything that we can say or do before putting hands on you to get you to come over to just let us give you a ticket, which you can fight legislatively in court? Is there anything that we can do before we have to put our hands on you and drag you over there?
I'm sorry.
Get their names. Get the badge numbers and names there to file charges against them.
Inalienable rights, my God-given rights that are
Hallelujah.
endowed upon me by my Creator, and I am not going to comply. You guys want to grab that?
What is your,
What's your name and badge number before you touch him? Names and badge numbers. Names and badge numbers for court. Names and badge numbers.
Name and badge number.
Yeah. Look at this.
You're already
Look at
breaking
this.
this
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
people.
Man, kudos to you for keeping your wits, man. I think I probably would have
You kept
made
it
it.
cool real good, man. Wow.
I was pretty heated. I wasn't violent, obviously, but yeah, I was a little worked up.
So I'm seeing a distinct difference between the way these sheriffs operated and the way the police I've seen operate in the past before. Did you see a difference in how they were behaving, or how they went through their process?
Yeah, definitely. And if you even notice in the video, you couldn't see the individuals' names. Usually they have it on the breast. Some of them had that the entity was covered. They didn't have their identifying number on the sleeve of their
Ooh.
jackets. And
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like almost like a G20 thing in Toronto because they didn't have name tags.
yeah, they did do that.
Aha! Good
Yeah.
thing to bring that up.
Right. So
And moreover,
did they identify themselves to you later on at all? Nothing. So they were like Gestapo with the jackboots. They don't care.
well, it went from I was being detained until I told them I didn't have ID. And then I was being charged and I was under arrest. So what does that sound like to you? Because that reminds me of where's your papers?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Where's
Exactly.
Your
So take us through from where you're getting treated like a piece of baggage, hauled across. That's quite a ways to the cruisers. They carried you all the way. There's no footage for any of that, obviously. So take us through.
There
it.
is some footage for that,
Is
yeah,
there?
just from different sources. Yeah, I got some footage that nobody else has seen yet. I got footage of even when I was speaking to the police over by the squad car.
Oh, very good.
It basically, in my mind, I was thinking, I had told them I don't agree. I know I didn't do anything wrong. They were acting outside of even the purview of their authority as they see it, right? And I just wasn't going to comply. And everyone's like, well, what, why did they have to carry you? It's like, well, because I wasn't going to walk under my own power. I mean, in my mind, if you say you're not going to comply, you didn't do anything wrong, and yet they're like, hey, you're under arrest, and you get up and you go walk with them. Well, you're kind of like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm complying.
Some people would argue the fact that you're resisting arrest, but the thing is, like I said earlier, you didn't break a law, so how could you be resisting arrest?
It's
resisting an unlawful arrest.
It's an unlawful arrest. Everything about that absolutely was unlawful. And to me, I hate to say it, but we've been in the same wavelength for a very long time, and we knew this was coming. And I think this is exactly what is keeping possibly 1 million Canadians from going and doing the same thing, is because this is exactly what they're afraid of happening to them. And this is going to be a model head. People are going to follow you and follow this story, incredibly closely. If you think your life is blown up in 24 hours, wait for the next 72. So this is an important message. That this is a time that is calling their bluff on this, and the court of public opinion is going to start speaking. And I think Mr. Kenney is already fearing what he is already facing.
I already
when
popped it up, but I'll pop it up again.
Comes to that. And have you had a chance to see and read this statement yet from Mr.
Yeah, I did.
You have?
Yeah.
I'm going to read it real quick to the audience in case some of them haven't seen it. And he released this on Twitter just a few hours ago now. But it says, the right to peaceful protest is a fundamental right that includes both the freedoms of speech and assembly. We understand that a number of peaceful protests have occurred outside the legislature since a public health emergency was invoked, where protesters observed physical distancing guidelines largely without incident, as you guys all did yesterday as well. Yesterday was the first time an arrest occurred. Elected leaders do not direct operational decisions of law enforcement officials. We are inquiring why an arrest occurred yesterday, but not at previous protests. Well, this isn't quite exactly accurate, but at least he's identifying that this is an irregular occurrence, which I don't know if he's distancing himself from what's going on or not, but if we are not satisfied with the explanation, the government will modify public health orders to clarify that it is acceptable for individuals who are respecting physical distancing guidelines to be present in outdoor public venues, including for the purpose of protesting. We recognize that law enforcement is dealing with a situation without precedent during this pandemic. At the same time, we expect that law enforcement will exercise common sense in respecting both fundamental rights and protecting public health. That last paragraph kind of sticks in my craw. What do you think about that one? Do you think that they were common sense in respecting fundamental rights or protecting public health?
Not at all. No. And I also like the fact that you pointed out that the section that wasn't necessarily entirely true as well. And that was my biggest point of contention in that entire article, was that, he said that this was an isolated case, yet right. I have video footage that is evidence to the contrary, right? When they arrested Patrick Lebrecht, I don't know how to say his last name, but when they arrested him, they told him he was under arrest for criminal charges of obstruction, and they did let him go, but he was under arrest. And even
in the follow-up of that, has that when you were under arrest, have they followed through with that? Have they expunged his record? Even if they didn't fulfill or prosecute the charges, is he still going to have this mark on him that's going to show up the next time they're looking for his papers? This is the slippery slope that we're in on this here now, and for yourself here now. They have taken the next step against you. We've seen protests from coast to coast in this country for 80 weeks running. And never have we seen this happen anywhere.
Nope.
Not like this. So,
and even more interestingly to note is the where out east, a lot of people have been getting fined or just engaged in recreational activities, things like that. Family guys taking his kids for rollerblading, things like that, a lot higher than they are out west.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, exactly. But then out here, that's a lot less. But then you take a look at the numbers that are going up out east are on a steady increase week by week. And if you take a look at the way the police are responding to it there, in some cases they're actually giving escorts, guarding, and completely leaving the protest alone. But that's in the place where they have been giving more fines to people, for other matters. But then we have the exact opposite going on here out west.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if maybe there's a correlation to the number of protesters in relation to the outrage of all of the fining and stuff that's happening out there, and all of the media exposure that there has been in relation to such.
Well, and this brings me right to the point where that I wanted to get to is that, like you were saying, we've got a 17-year-old kid playing basketball in a park by himself, gets an $880 fine. We attend a protest in Toronto where there's maybe 500 people, and there was nothing like this. Yet a teenager gets arrested. You guys in low numbers have 3 arrested and completely dispersed, intimidated. This is a traumatic event for some people. Some people that are watching this and have seen this are seriously messed up by what they're seeing happen in Canada. So the ripple effects of this are going nationwide. And there's no common sense or consistency to this. We've got individual police forces in Ontario, sheriffs in Edmonton at the Ledge grounds, Vancouver City Police in Vancouver. None of this is happening anywhere else.
No.
What do you think is the agitator here in Edmonton, that a small group following all of the laws, not breaking any of the rules, has to put up with this? Any thoughts on how, what was there anything that triggered them?
I think perhaps it's the decreasing numbers. The first down rally, there was about 150 people in attendance, and nobody was bothered then. The second one was about, 80 people, and then the third one, there was they arrested Patrick right at the beginning when there was only about 25 people there. Not everybody had shown up yet, So I'm thinking it's a lot to do with the amount of numbers, and potentially, like, what I don't understand is we're the West. We're supposed to be, we've always been considered the hotbed of, the cowboy boys and the oil field workers and the gun owners and
It was Alberta that drove the bus on the convoy to Ottawa last year. It's been Alberta that's been leading the fight through all of this, and what I've seen in the last couple of weeks has absolutely blown my mind, with Jason Kenney pushing through the first full-on communist statutes in Alberta with 21 votes in Bill 10. Yep. Gives them
14,
or Bill 14. Sorry, that
no, it was Bill C10, but it was 14
votes. I thought it was 21 votes that he got it through. That they don't even need probable cause or warrants to come into our home and take people under suspicion of, where's your papers? So to go from that to a week later to seeing this, I think what I'm seeing and feeling here is because they've been putting the pressures on, they want to crush anything that's going to happen in Canada, starting with Alberta first.
Right, and I think that's because Alberta has the potential to be an economic force. We always have been. I think that it largely has a lot to do with a lot of the movements that sprung up over the last year and a half, right? And knowing the potential for something like that to be full is probably highly centered around all, right? I think that putting such a tremendous pressure on people here in Alberta is because they're scared of potential, right?
Well, to be honest, I think they have their guards up because, like, before the coronavirus, we had Canada shut down by the Wet'suwet'ens, with the train derailments and stuff like that. And from the footage that I seen from your video that was done, there were more sheriffs and officers than there were protesters at the legislature.
Yeah, it was a fairly intimidating police presence there at one point, for sure.
So not even a common sense police presence.
No.
And if you're looking at basically $100 or $150 an hour of our taxpayers' dollars to keep each one of those guys there, that's a pretty expensive Gestapo bill.
But bearing in mind the original event that was posted on Facebook, it was the Liberal gun ban protest. Before they canceled the event or changed the date, there was about 3,000 people said that they were interested or attending the event.
Ooh, okay, that could be it.
Interestingly enough that you say that, today I got wind that the next one that's planned has already got 4,000 plus confirmed by this afternoon that are planning to attend in spite of what happened yesterday. So I think that was a giant leap forward, and I think people are understanding too that the waning numbers are emboldening them to silence us even more, and we've got to. And you played it so perfectly, man. You gave them resistance without giving them violence, without giving them aggression. And this is the only way we win, I believe. If we give them what they want, they beat us down, and they're justified in doing so. We cannot allow them to goad any of us into taking those kinds of steps. We've got to control our emotions and play it out just like you did, because this is what's happening now. The court of public opinion is stepping up and saying, no, this isn't right. Had you gone at those cops with a different attitude, the rhetoric and the narrative out there would be much larger, much bigger. It would be all across every mainstream news outlet across North America. They would be pumping that stuff. Instead, you've got us, Rebel Media,
Well, not only that,
the real news, right?
You also got
I did an interview. I did an interview with CTV News today.
Wow, there you go.
It'll be on. I think it's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Alberta time tonight. They said so. Any time here now, like right now.
You know,
and then they said they're gonna play it again.
You know, another good thing is everybody that's there is live feeding or recording it themselves, so it protects everybody. You know, and that's a key thing. Everybody's got to do a live feed when they're out protesting, just in case this stuff happens. Then you have it on camera, and you're saved by that. You know.
I also have a copy of the whole interview that I did. So if there's any chopping, changing, whatever, you know.
That's I'm curious to see what they do with that. What kind of a spin they put on that. It's going to be interesting, considering that most of the mainstream media is anti-conservative and anti-Kenny, other than some of our a few borderline mainstream media journalists out there.
Well, if you listen to what was said, I was being chanted at being called a liberal.
Really?
What?
Yeah, the guy who organized the event.
Oh,
Bjorkman, David Bjorkman.
The real hijacker of the event was chanting at me, calling me a liberal, saying I was liberal. And then I've heard that he's been
usurped his event.
How can you hijack an event from somebody who didn't even organize the event? That's what I would really like to know. So I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure that I was.
You're a lunatic, though.
I'm pretty sure I can prove that I was promoting that event from the original organizer before he even knew that it existed.
How many protests have you been there in the last year, Cody?
Every single one that happened. Except not every single one. In the last few weeks, I've been at every single one.
But I mean, you've been there dozens of times in the last 18 months since this whole thing started. And this gentleman, labeling you the usurper and the liberal, has made a couple of momentary appearances, I think, here and there, wherever he thinks he can get himself some airtime. So I do find that extremely laughable, because he's really trying to he's sticking to his guns on that story. I couldn't even stand to see the chatter going on about it. But he's getting crucified by what used to be his own following for the most part. So,
well, honestly, the way I see it, as a politician, they're going to take whatever advantage they can to try to further their own themselves and their career. I feel that he has alternate agendas, and man, literally during that event, he straight up said, "Hail the UN."
No,
those words came right out of his mouth. Hail the UN.
Did anybody capture that?
Wow.
Yeah, I think you can hear it a little bit on one of the feeds for sure. And it was right after I had said to him, I said, he was yelling at me, because here's the thing. He had the mic up and he was letting anybody speak. He said, anybody, go ahead and grab my megaphone. And other people had spoken, and then nobody was grabbing his microphone. And I was like, well, I don't want that one. And I grabbed Nikki Hurley's. You guys know Nikki.
Oh, yeah.
And I grabbed his megaphone and started talking. And as soon as I started touching on the UN, he grabbed his megaphone and just started screaming and this is my event. You hijacked my event. And I was like, man, this isn't your event for one. You didn't organize this. I'm not here for you. And then he gets mad and he's like, whatever, I'm out of here. And he starts storming off. And well, no, he was chanting, I guess, calling me a liberal. And then started storming off. And that's when I was like, whatever, man, we know that you support the United Nations. Okay. And he was like, damn right. Hail the UN.
Wow.
And you can even hear people in the audience. Yeah. Hail, did you hear that? Hail the UN. And like, and then the aftermath, he's blocked me on social media just for trying to have rational debate with this gentleman in the past. Okay, he is insulting, calls me down, calls me names, and I'm simply there presenting factual information to substantiate the claims that I'm making, trying to engage in a rational debate. And being met with berating, insulting, all these other things. And eventually he got so fed up with me just continuing to engage him and being respectful to him, I think, was what got him the most. So he blocked me. But now I hear he's saying I'm Antifa, that I'm a liberal, that I'm all these things that absolutely anybody who knows anything about me,
anybody that's actively involved in anything in Alberta knows the difference beyond that. Or I mean, this guy has been a sore spot for people for a very, very long time, always running around with half-cocked, do it my way or you're a traitor in the enemy kind of attitude. He attempted to start and run a couple of political parties and basically has destroyed everything he has ever touched. He claims to be a patriot and a vet. It's possible maybe he did serve. I don't know. I don't want to question that. That's neither here nor there. His behavior there would have been what it was. His behavior now in the real world, I don't think has anything to do with any kind of sanity or reality. And I'm really, really stunned. And again, this shows one of the reasons why we're not getting the support and success that I think across Canada is because there's too many agendas with too many people with too many different things rather than just coming together to stand up against something. People.
That's it. Like, I promote so many different groups, man. I'll give shout outs to people, but I'm not a part of any group or organization to say I am this or I am that. I wouldn't even say I'm left or right or whatever, because I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. Personally, I think they're all corrupt and crooked and that they all don't have our best interests at heart.
Absolutely, man.
And honestly, yeah, just like you said, Derek, I'm me. And who do I stand with? I stand with the people. And I stand against the people who are attempting to subjugate us, deprive us of our rights and freedoms, destroy our quality of life, all of those things.
And that's the sheer insanity of all of this to me, is because 90% of us, the silent majority, and us that are active and us that are covering all of this, we know that all of this stuff comes directly from that same place, that unelected foreign entity that's in the middle of this hostile global takeover under these false pretenses and lies, with an infiltrated government system that we've got. And it doesn't matter the left or the right, both sides have sold out to the same masters. They just talk differently about it, and we are still continuing down the same slope, and to where we're at here now with events like this that are absolute proof. No, okay, we have a conservative government. Kenny was going to save Alberta. He was going to leave the West, and now he has got the first full-on communist province in this country. How much is it going to take? Conservative, liberal?
They're all wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
It's all good. I just said Doug Ford's slowly starting to go down the same road because he wants to extend the pandemic. Extend it a couple more weeks.
The lockdowns and stuff.
I'm terrified even about the opening. Okay, because they're already narrative building for when they do that. I mean, you see Trudeau talk. No. I'm not talking about the new normal. I mean, Trudeau making comments about being scared to reopen, of the potential repercussions and a second wave. And if that does occur, that this time it won't be suggestive, it will be confinement.
Yeah.
Okay. This is narrative building.
Yeah.
This was a trial run. I believe what happened here now was a test to see, a litmus test to see what the response is going to be if they take harsher action in Alberta, the strongest of the resistance.
Yeah, well, we've been hit the hardest, and man, from what I can see, we've been the most submissive to it. Like, I honestly, I love this province, but I'll tell you, I feel a little bit of shame, and I sure hope that the individuals who call themselves men and patriots and Albertans stand up and be counted. And I hope, if anything, I hope that what happened to me, instead of scaring people, will be a warning shot. Because that's what it really needs to be taken as a warning shot of what inaction is bringing, okay, and what it's causing to happen. And I think it's a precursor, and it's foreshadowing to what more is going to happen as long as we do stay inactive and submissive to all of this.
It's funny how we can't see the parallels. Any one of us in society in this country knows that if you're in an abusive relationship, you get out of the abusive relationship. Yet we have 37 million people being abused in an illegitimate relationship, and none of us are willing to get out of it. Well, I shouldn't say none of us, but the vast minority are still unwilling to get out of it. How many of our friends and neighbors are we going to have to see go through this, or worse yet, be sitting ducks in their home, being good citizens, hiding out, staying homes, and they still will not be able to escape this?
Actually, I want to touch on this one right here. They can't stick us all in jail. You know what they can do? They can keep us busy in court. They can keep us going back in and out of court until they tired of
stopping me, buddy.
You're
right.
This is a well, I guess there's probably not as many red light tickets and speeding tickets for them to collect on. Is this a new cash stream for them?
You have to hit that quota.
Right? I mean, they've got some serious shortfalls.
The opposite is happening. There is major photo radar. There's check stops happening in places like Edson, over up in the northern areas. Like, they are cashing in. You would think at a time during a pandemic when people aren't working and all this stuff that they would relax on the rest of it. But no, they've been hammering.
They just want
they've been hammering.
That's what I mean, though. Is okay. We've got 10 million and less vehicles on the road. That makes it a whole lot easier to turn it into a cash cow. And now when they can turn people walking down the street or gathering together with any of these little things, it's just another thing. No matter where you're walking, if you're going into the post office, you're going to be wondering, is this going to cost me? This fear and where we are not feeling safe from our own government and our own totalitarianism that's happening. A perfect example of this, I was talking to a gentleman friend of mine yesterday who has an 8-year-old grandson, and they wanted to go out and do some exercise. But before they went, he made sure to teach his 8-year-old grandson that if we get pulled over, this is how you turn my camera on, and this is how you film what's happening. On what planet should we be thinking like this before we go out to take our grandchildren out to exercise, to protect ourselves? How insane. This is where we're getting to, though, right? And that's ultimately what's going to save your bacon when all of this comes pushed down to shove, without having the videos, and it becomes a he said, she said kind of thing, is how the courts look at it. So it's your word against the cops, and they're going to win 99.9% of the time. So kudos on you for having all of that. And this is valuable lessons that everybody else needs to know. Number one, the numbers are going to make us pay. Mm-hmm. If we don't stand up, we're going to get it, and it's not going to get easier and worse. We cannot give them violence. You've given the people the textbook procedure on how to handle this stuff.
So everybody can follow that example. Like you did an amazing job, man. Like most other people would like probably try to fight the cops off or yell at them, call them names and stuff like that. You just take me away.
What else are you gonna do? Honestly. But the amount of police presence there is no point resisting. No, I know for a fact that there wasn't enough people to have an outrage to stand up to the police. I don't think that a lot of people would have done that anyway. No, there really is no point. No point in being violent, right?
No, the violence is only going to justify their reactions. It's just like hockey. The guy that takes the first shot doesn't get the penalty. It's the guy that fires back that always ends up in the penalty box, and that's something that we have to be so aware of. So again, hats off to you, and this is giving everybody. I mean, we've got a couple hundred people watching here that are going to be talking about this and learning from this, and in my heart, I'm hoping getting inspired by this as well to say, look, guys, we can't be afraid. They don't have the rights to hurt us, and so long as the eyes of the world and our country are watching us, we can hold them accountable. And this is our duty moving forward, as I see it, is to call their bluff, demand our rights. These are ours, right? So.
Yeah, and I said to CTV today, I was like, the charter, that's not where our rights are derived from. But it is supposed to be an instrument that protects our rights and freedoms from the government and its officers. And it's clear that is being completely ignored and completely disregarded. And I mean, honestly, it's really evident now, but I believe that it has been a slow boiling pot for many years. Okay. Last year, there's so many different things out there, whether you want to look at the Greenbelt initiatives and the removal of people's property rights, the mandatory breathalyzers, the fact that, at one point in time, we used to be considered innocent until proven guilty. And nowadays we're in a situation where it's more like we are considered guilty until proven innocent, which is an absolute affront to the fundamentals of justice and the principles and the rule of law. And this is what we're living in now. And I mean, I've been saying this for a lot of years, man. It really wasn't as evident as it is now, but it's like we've been out of that slow boil and thrown into a right hot frying pan, you know, and it's becoming ever more evident.
So a bunch of people are asking, did you end up with fines or actual charges out of this by the time they let you go?
No criminal charges. You know, I was arrested and threatened with criminal charges, but that wasn't the end result. I got 2 violation tickets. It's like a parking ticket, basically. Strange, though, that everybody else was fined like $1,200. I'm not sure. Patrick's was on yellow paper. Mine's on pink. I don't know if that's the difference between the sheriffs and the EPS or what, but really interesting. And I honestly think it's because of the way I conducted myself and the way I spoke when dealing with the officers. The fine amount, if you look.
Can't see it. Hold on.
It's empty.
Oh, it's empty. Hold on. It's empty.
Okay. There's nothing on that one. And that one is 71, Section 71 of the Public Health Act, which is obstruction. Okay. And this one is the 73-1 contravening order. Now, again.
Nothing. Wow.
So what does that mean? I
genuinely might be a topic for another show. Honestly,
you're on, buddy. You're on. You're gonna have to come back and give us an update on how this transpires. I know you're gonna be quite popular to all of the talking heads out there over the next little while. I just got to say that, you know, I'm proud to know you. I'm proud to be, standing up with you. And I don't know your background, your history, but I think you're an inspiration that those who have sworn an oath to protect and serve, actually, you have given them a teachable moment.
Absolutely, man.
As Trudeau likes to say, a learning moment.
Well, it was a pleasure to have had the opportunity to meet you guys last year in Ottawa and to go on that march. And gratitude. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Appreciate it. And,
hey, I have a question.
It's a pleasure to know you guys as well. Yeah.
What are you doing on Canada Day?
I don't know. Tied in time willing, buddy. Tied in time willing. We'll see.
Right on.
So what's the next event or the next thing going on in Edmonton? Because there's people that are well, I know that some groups specifically have got some stuff going on, but if there's anything that you're thinking about or is coming up, let us know.
The end the lockdown rallies are happening every Saturday. There's been talks of extending that to every Saturday and every Wednesday.
Yes.
I think there's been some talk about potentially changing the venue from the legislative grounds. I myself don't personally agree with that. I understand the idea behind it, though, is that there isn't a guaranteed police presence like there is at the legislative grounds for an event such as that. And also that no matter where you drive around those grounds, you can't see that area. So you're not out in the public eye, you know? And I agree with that aspect of it very much so, that going there is kind of you're out of the public eye. You're not out in the street, you know, if you're out at a busy street corner or something, people are seeing you driving by and whatever.
It's not like Queen's Park, where it's right on the
and this is where I think that there's something for the Patriots to learn from some of all of this too. And the big thing that you said there that really excites me is the Wednesday.
Yeah.
These events, all the work that are going into these Saturday events are happening when all of these people that we want to be listening to us are sitting at home in their pajamas, drinking their cocoa. And, you know, traditionally in the past, if you wanted to get somebody's attention, you picketed their office. You picketed the events they were going to. You picketed where you were going to be seen by the person you wanted to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a time for us to all across the country give our heads a shake and say, well, why aren't we getting a response? Because the building is empty. So let's take it to somewhere or a time where people are there and they're going to be forced to listen, because when they're sitting at home in their pajamas, they don't care. They'll catch their 30 seconds on the news part of it, and it's no discomfort to them. But if they have to see 10 protesters outside of their constituency office, they are paying attention big time. And that's a difference that I think is good to see happening. So Wednesday, this coming Wednesday in Edmonton, there's an event at the, and that is that at the Ledge then on Wednesday.
I urge everyone who's interested to go to the End the Lockdown Edmonton page on Facebook. I think that all of the event information will be posted there. I haven't really, like I said, since yesterday, I've kind of just been woo. So I bet. And like I said, there's been a lot of talk of changing things as well after yesterday. So I'm not sure where everything sits right now. I'm actually on a Facebook ban too, so I can't post or like.
Everybody, eh?
All the good patriots are in Facebook jail. Yeah. So, well, we'll let you run here. I know it's getting kind of late there, and you've still got some mama makeup time to get in, and a lot of people. Rebel is really looking for you. Shiela Gunn Reid is, I think, hot on your trail. So she's got your name. Yeah, we sent you the clip earlier of her.
I don't understand how they haven't got a hold of me. I mean, come on, journalists.
Yeah,
right? Didn't take me long. Awesome stuff. Well, I kind of feel cool that we got a little bit of the scoop on her for this one. Say hi to her for us. She knows who we are, but enjoy that. Get the message out, brother. You're the right man for the job. You're the right man for the job. And if there's anything that we can do to help, in any way, shape, or form, if there's updates, if there's news, keep us informed of what's going on with this, even daily. It's good because we're getting a lot of questions, and this is.
Well, I appreciate the offer,
and this is a message Canadians can get behind.
Oh,
so
they cut out there for a second.
You're frozen, but it's all good. We can still hear you.
All right, looks like we're having a video freeze up. He glitched there. There he is.
There we go.
All right, man.
We're back.
Well, thank you for taking the time, man. It's always great seeing you.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, keep Canada posted. This is a something that I think Canadians can learn and get behind, and I think this is kind of exactly what we needed. Yeah. So awesome stuff. All right, man.
Have a good night, man.
God bless.
Yeah, you too, guys. Take care. God bless.
Don't jump off yet, guys. We got something at the end of this video. I wanted to say that before people start and jump off. But we'll say our final words and we'll let you guys go.
Yeah, fun stuff. Which part were you? Oh, your little. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
I got something to say too at the end too. So
he's got a little treat.
Yeah.
So the next couple of days, we're still catching up, physically, mentally, storyline, stuff like that. I can tell you guys, I can't tell you who, and I can't tell you the exact time, but late Saturday evening, we are going to have something out of the ordinary and way out of our league, right? So we'll just leave it at that for safety and security's sake. This is why I say we're not going to drop times or details until probably late Friday night, but look for it on Saturday night. Saturday, God willing and Mother Nature willing, We're going to be back boots on the ground in Toronto. And if the weather is right, we may have a little fun shenanigan for some of the locals to take part in. You know, our little mad scientist brains
We're
are
always thinking of new things, man.
always thinking
To
of ways
engage people, to inspire people.
get them talking, get them going, right? So that's mine.
Yeah, I gotta say, so all those the people that are new and stuff like that that want to do something, it's not that hard to get out there to do something. Like sometimes it's hard to find the courage, but once you get out there, it's easy. You know, I lead myself every day to go out to these things, and I feel rejuvenated every time I meet all the people, the smiles, the conversations I have, and you know, it just inspires me that I inspire other people. You know, and you can do the same thing too. It's very easy.
Couldn't get the link into the comments, but Jay's got it in there for those that want to check out the CTV article.
Yeah, it's
interview
somewhere
them.
in the chats. We'll
Yeah,
repost
I just popped it up in here. You guys will be able to copy it and paste
We
it into
can't
your
copy
browser. We can't copy and paste it from here, so it didn't work for us. But you guys keep them guys honest. Right, that's what we've got to do. We don't have to be afraid, but we have to be there to keep them honest. Because when we show up in fewer numbers, you saw what happened in Edmonton.
They're not transparent. We need them to be accountable and transparent for us. This is our country. They're our government.
They're supposed to work for us. They are not supposed to rule us. They are supposed to work for us. And there's no leaders, but it's time for all Canadians to take a little bit of responsibility.
You're the leader.
Yeah.
We're
leader. All the leaders. And I am not myself accepting a virtual Canada Day. It is my Canada Day, and I intend to hashtag repossess Canada Day. July 1st.
So on that note, guys, I got this nice little video queued up. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. We love you. Hope to see you.
Until next time.
Until next time. Yes. Good night.
Love you.